And then along the way, it'll release different minerals and stuff that make up the solid object. Futuristic mining.
So it's kind of like the same concept as the Great Purification period.
Yeah.
So it's really going through a purification state. So meaning that everything is going back into 0 point energy. A reset,
With energy about to be free again, we just learned how to measure it, focus it, so that we can charge for it. That's all humans did. But energy used to be free in Atlantis.
Yeah.
Every human got a right to the resources of the planet if any human have a right to the resources of the planet. If we restrict the resources for some in favor of the others, we not truly are the earthborn. Because we're supposed to be free to give as we is free to receive. That's called reciprocity.
Yep.
The law of reciprocity is a building block between people. Because reciprocal energy is what you call circulating the bandwidth between the two. Gratitude expands the bandwidth to be grateful for what somebody else give you and to be freely willing to return just the same or greater. And this is where the law of equivalent exchange and alchemy is being used to maximize the return of what you put out. Right? So when you start on the journey, you have to, as the food journey, you give up everything you love in order to come out as the hero in the hero's journey. So we talking moon magic, lunar magic, which governs the tarot. Moon magic is the magic that the colonizing Europeans was able to assimilate because they couldn't assimilate solar magic. Because you need the gold elixir.
Yep.
If you can't assimilate solar magic and you can only assimilate silver magic, you're going to start to deteriorate. Because you have what's called an inefficient exchange of energy with the surrounding environment.
Stephen
And you're going to be the one suffering. It's going to suck the life out of you. Stephen Hawkins.
Yep. Like you told me, shriveled up.
Yep. Too much mental energy and not enough spiritual insight cause the intellect to deteriorate the physical form, trying to establish enough energy to break the gold elixir through the sulfuric barrier in the spinal channel. So the body starts to short circuit. The nerves begin to die. Then you begin to wither up. But the brain's still functioning at a high capacity.
Yeah, I'm not producing enough neurofibers to, create the symbiotic connection of the corpus callosum. So he just one-sided left brain.
But look, he had got so good, left-brained it, that even his highest reason came to the conclusion that there had to be a creator of all this. Because of the organizational structure of matter, the grid system that holds matter together, the way that we use light to build matter from atoms, right? There had to be a design that had to have a less than universal mind. In other words, it's a secondary thought process behind the original process of thought. So the great mother, the Omega mother, transmits to the Alpha Sun what we call the infinite light. Right? The black sun. The black sun doesn't radiate gold. It radiates purple. And it makes the white appear purple under the black light. The black sun. Right? It's the neon effect.
Yep.
Which causes your inner glow to become luminescent, to be seen by those with an eye to see, and your voice to be heard by the ones who have the ear to hear. In order to resurrect the blind, deaf, and dumb from the wilderness of North America and set the captives free, right? They didn't killed enough of our prophets, and no longer will we sit by, right? So we had to find a strategy and the means to protect the great minds that came to liberate us. When the enemy began to collapse down on them, we have an alternative plan. They got an extraction model and we got an extraction model. If they can do it, we can do it. Turnabout fair play. They masquerading and pretending to be us, and we being laughed at because we know they ain't us.
Facts.
Right? And that go for $5 Indians, the $2.50 version, all of them.
Yep. And I'm glad you said that because Greenland is actually the head of Turtle Island, which is the crown chakra of planet Earth. Yep. So that kind
If
of
nothing else, it's the crown chakra of this land.
Yep.
Because you can't have a crown chakra without a head.
Exactly. Because all of it was connected together because I believe they would say that, there's a lot of intrinsic raw materials in Greenland because it was connected to Hyperborea and the Atlantean energy grid system. So that's where a lot of the free energy came from. So you got a lot of the copper and the gold and the graphite, the nickel and the rare earth, titanium, vanadium, and zinc. You got all those metals and stuff over there in that landmass, which was connected to America at one point in
Okay,
time.
now I got to go back to something. You said Hyperborea. Break the word down. It's a compound word, and give me the definition of both sides of the word.
You said break it down?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on.
Because all this is telling you is that they Atlanteans, by the way.
All right. So hyper is kind of like the prefix of the word. It means beyond or above, and then the root word of it comes from the Arctic region, north wind, and the suffix of the word. Let me see. Thought I put it in here. And then Borea, yeah. Borea, yeah. So it basically means beyond the north wind.
Well, Borea means light.
Or the
same word. It's the same word as the Borealis Aurelis.
Yep.
The northern lights. So when they talk about Hyperborea, they talking about, remember where Loki came from?
He came from Asgard, right?
The land of the ice giants.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Loki was the rightful heir on the male side, the ruler right. But the right was given to Thor. Thor was Enlil's son. Right? Now remember, the mother of Loki, she was the princess or the queen of the ice giants. Right? So now we talking about the northern hemisphere where everything is frozen. The queen of the north.
That's a movie. I ain't the queen. I could have swore that's a Queen of the North is a movie. Yeah.
Yeah, the queen of the north, depending on where you orient it from. But the queen of the north, let's say it's the ice princess who becomes the queen of the north. The ice princess is called Isis. Right?
It's crazy how everything comes together like that.
Princess Isis. Right? And when she's a Mississippian, she's Miss Isis standing on pie. Miss Pippi.
Pippi Longstocking.
Yep. The Longstocking is actually the Louisiana boot.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy how everything comes full circle.
You gotta remember, we have to figure it out. They just gotta put it in the public.
Right. Wow.
Right. So when you realize that the long stocking is the Louisiana boot, but where's the other stocking at? The
Right.
Florida Panhandle.
Damn.
It's upside down.
Damn. So the land of the gods is actually disfigured. So as far as the activation of the seven thunders is what's going to put everything right back in its proper place, basically.
And seven thunders is the seven dragons or masters that come forth to speak.
Mm.
But they concealed in the mysteries as just seven thunders. But when you go to the reference, you use where they deriving these references. And his voice was as many thunders,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is how you know they're talking about somebody speaking. And it's another term to say the voice of many waters, right? Which also it signified like a dam break, a booming voice of the blue house versus the booming voice of the red house. One's water, one's fire,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you put them together, the boot that is Louisiana is a six, and the sock that is the
Seven.
upside down
It's a seven.
seven,
13.
67, 13.
13.
13 is the
Wow.
queen mother seal. Empress was born in 67.
Damn. Hey man, that boy be cold cracking, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy how everything could full circle like that, man.
Yeah. So she already did what she's supposed to do. She already sat in the sacerdotal seat. She
Right.
already called Philadelphia back online as the seat of tribal government for the matriarchs. Remember, they meeting at Congress Hall. Congress Hall meaning meeting the mayors. Mayors are
Right.
female horses, which is town mothers.
Mm. Mm.
So the sometime after she make her announcement, the tribal mothers is going to have a gathering in Philadelphia Congress Hall in order for us to start putting our stuff back together. All of the tribal mothers, that's like for instance Chief Warhorse, be called. Then you have people with communities like Louisa Taish from
Mm.
New Orleans. She had, there'll be guests of honor.
Mm.
Um, Winnie Hoover, um, Jeff Ford daughter, Amina Ford,
Mm-hmm.
right? They'll all have to go meet there as a unified collective and reclaiming everything. But the initial spearhead was already done when Empress Redbird sat there. That's called pulling rank,
Mm.
right? The security guard wanted to stop her, but for some reason he couldn't find himself able to stop her. That's the spirit working on his ass.
Divine intervention.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's and everybody in the chat. That's Rye Hayes' Cash App in the chat for everybody who's wondering what that is. That's his Cash App in the chat. And and I came across this today too as well, Rod. I think I sent this to you also. It says if white men became the minority, we will be slaughtered. Remember, if non-whites openly hate white men while white men hold a collective majority, then they will be 1,000 times more hostile and cruel when they were a majority over whites. White solidarity is the only way to survive. So what you think about that?
It's race baiting.
Right,
But really what it is that's the same grievance that we had 200 years ago.
right.
You got to see everything going out that you seen coming in, but it's going to be reversed upside down and backwards. When you see it and you acknowledge it, you flip out of that particular loop. As long as we don't give it emotional energy, we don't have to keep going through the BS.
Right.
When we get charged up and emotional and feel some type of way, then it perpetuates the energy because the universe can't get rid of it because we ain't done using it yet. It's the same with your manifestation. It can't manifest because you can't keep watching the water boil.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the universe know you still looking at the water waiting on the boil. The universe say, well, hell, I can't heat it up until you get your eyes off of it.
Right.
Right. And so you finally look this way for a second, look back, and you didn't even see it boiling. It's boiling like a rage.
Heck
Now,
yeah.
this is critical right here. And this
Right.
goes
Yep.
to we we don't care about uh as much about what it is as we do about what does it mean. Do you remember the last time a contingent of Buddhist monks came over here to make a pilgrimage and do a walk? Do you remember what that was? 90% of us have no clue.
Nope. I don't know. I probably wasn't even born during that time if they did do it, another
You
time.
were born. Time
Really?
my way.
Okay.
The Dalai Lama had a whole group of Buddhists went to Tamaray for the procession of Osiris that was being done by Dr. York.
Wow. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they got pictures to prove it. So if anybody think I'm making it up, you probably can Google the picture.
Mm.
Buddhist monks in Tamaray. Now they come back again. That's the herald of the close of a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
They put the timestamp down the first trip to Eatonton, Georgia, to walk in the procession of Osiris with Malachi York.
Mm.
Now, as we wrap everything up, they come and make their presence known and drawing attention to their presence by making a national walk. Right? They don't even have to be real Buddhist monks. They can be what's called ceremonial Buddhist monks, meaning that they ain't the real monks. They just the ones who do the outside work of the monks.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the real monks might sit in the monastery meditating and they walking as they proxy. So they don't have to leave the temple.
Right.
Right? Now, in another 10, 15 years, some of them guys just walking as ceremonial monks might become initiated to a full-fledged monk. And then he won't leave the monastery no more.
Right.
But the blatant, open walk that they're taking is for something. It's to bring attention to something. Look at the color code, orange and red. Those are fire colors. The year of the fire horse.
Wow.
They telling us something. The solar flares that's coming out is phenomenal. Right? That's the gold energy feeding the earth. Right now, the earth gets to tell Jupiter what gifts it needs in order to be replenished, and 3i Atlas can serve as the facilitation network.
Yep.
Now, we don't know if 3i Atlas is real or not. I believe it's just used as a medium to deliver the codes for us to follow a particular stream of information in order to make the disclosure more palatable.
Mm-hmm.
And then in order to downplay the level of our technology.
And also, from my perspective, I was also looking at it as a severe warning. Also, because that solar eclipse that went through 9 cities called Nineveh in 2024, and then it went through 7 cities called Salem in 2023, which means peace. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well, because I believe that there's a significance in the connection with the monks, walking across America, and and especially during the time when you look at the political infrastructure right now. Everything's pretty much in chaos. So yeah, and then
So
I see
look,
that.
this is the close of the old, the dawning of the new. It's we're going into Aquarius. We have to close out Pisces. Whose
Mm-hmm.
job is it to close it out?
Us,
Mhm.
the
Right.
collective.
Specifically, who's supposed to be doing what to close out the old age and bring in the new? Well, you never asked that question. Everybody waiting on somebody else to do it,
Right.
right? While we all waiting on somebody else to do it, we might be the ones supposed to be getting it done,
Exactly.
right? So this is what we do. The ones who don't know what to do, stay out of the way of the ones doing what need to be done, and watch us
Mm.
work, because we've been putting in the work. We were studying for personal development purposes, for whatever measure. We didn't know we was going to see the problem being unfolded before our face.
Facts.
Now we get to tell y'all who wasn't in the books like me and B-Dale and some of the others, who wasn't studying fringe theories of science and metaphysics, quantum physics, sorcery, and witchcraft, right? We trying to figure out what the hell going on. We can't bring balance back to something if we don't know what the cause of the imbalance is.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to investigate it, and your plan got to be workable everywhere, straight out of the holy tablets. A plan that's truly workable anywhere is truly workable everywhere. For if a plan
Mm-hmm.
is not workable everywhere, it's not truly workable anywhere. It's a principle of leadership.
Hold on, you mute, Rod. Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
So what we
Oh,
got here?
oh, okay, okay. I don't know. It's some other stuff that I came across today that I thought it was pretty interesting, and it's talking about a new 9/11 is coming any day from hundreds of Al Qaeda sleeper agents ready to unleash carnage in the UK, says ex MI6 spy.
Okay, now remember, I kept telling everybody there's a lot of sleepers across the land right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now they telling you the same thing I was telling you, but now they gotta blame somebody else. They not Al Qaeda is was a CIA organization. We forget that. The Mujahideen was funded by the United States, armed by the United States, and the Mujahideen is the ones who seated the government called Al Qaeda. Right? That was the Bin Laden group.
Mm-hmm.
That was the CIA formation. So if they over here, they were CIA operatives to get over here, right? Or they
Right.
in the UK in this particular man. It might have been MI5, MI6, but they was all involved, right? We remember when the Iran Contra blew up, the United States was arming Iran to fight Iraq, but they was also courting Afghanistan as an ally, and Russia was trying to come over the mountains, and the Mujahideen, who was being led by Osama bin Laden at the time, was being financed and armed by the U.S. military under Ronald Reagan.
Mm.
Right? A lot of us don't remember that, and we don't know that. So when they start telling us about ISIS as a terrorist group in the Middle East, Obama made them. That's
Right.
Obama team.
Right.
That's their team of assassins. That's who they use.
Genocide.
Right. That's why he had the American military bombing our allies to protect ISIS interests over there in the Middle East. That don't make sense. You don't bomb your allies.
Mm. Mm.
So it was a lot of stuff going on. But while it was going on, nobody understood what it meant because we was taught to look at small pieces of information bit by bit and not look at the big picture of what's playing out in front of us.
Mm-hmm. So That's pretty much all the slides I got, Rod. You wanna ask some questions from the we'll get into some questions.
Yeah, let's do about 4 or 5 questions from the
All
crowd.
right. Yeah, cause we way past the go ahead.
We chopping it up. We just
All
chopping
right.
it up.
Okay, I didn't know if it because you know what I'm saying. I try to be respectful of other people's time, so I was just making sure you good.
Yeah, we take about 4 or 5 questions.
Okay.
That'll make it that'll satisfy the custom the chat base.
Okay. Uh, what does it say? Yeah, it says, "Yo, Rod, this is from a dream. I astral projected in my dream and saw a ball of energy that was nothing and something at the same time."
So those balls of energy, you can give them instructions to go bring you back information to capture frequencies of something that you want to manifest in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They there like to carry information. Like you give them instructions to get information for you, or a frequency of energy. You want to be more charismatic. You find somebody in history. You want that level of charisma, and you say, "Go find that charisma and bring it back to me," and it bring it back to you literally. I use the order is the truth.
Mm. Mm.
It's easier to teach children to use them though.
I can answer this too. A monad is also kind of like the representation of a god, or just like when you look at the two clock, when you look at the arms of a clock, the monad is actually in the middle, which is also a representation of a neutron. So it's kind of like the god source, basically. From an esoteric standpoint. What you think about that?
Yeah, so it's generally referred to as a single point of energy.
Mm-hmm.
When it's separated, it becomes a duad,
Mm-hmm.
giving birth to duality.
Mm-hmm.
But in
So
the
it's kind.
monad, they exist together.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like the splitting of the photon, hydrogen, atom. So that
Yeah,
way you get the electron you get the electron and the proton in together, and that's what the same thing pretty much. So let me see. Salute to New Diamonds. We're gonna get it. It says, what do you think about us being in alignment with the Milky Way and Sirius right now? Feels like a gateway is open.
yeah. The gateway is actually on its way closed because we went through it with the Maherta.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when we went through the Maherta?
Mm-hmm.
Well, right. That's when we was going through the center alignment where Earth was in the direct line of sight to the core center of the universe,
Mm.
or the galactic center, in
Yep,
order to get the new codes for the upgrades.
that's a fact.
So now we going through the phases where we closing that out. We coming out of that alignment. Now we are in the real time implementing the codes that the Earth picked up from Prime Source when we went through the Maherta.
All right, we get another question in. Shout out to Zay Chosen X. What are your thoughts on the spiritual network that we're all connected to that allows us to have an experience, and also the grid that they're trying to attach us through nanotechnology and foods?
The spiritual connection is all mental. The universal mind is what we call it.
Mm-hmm.
We are all expressions of the universal mind, but we use these vessels as like what do you call the things you use in the lab? Beakers.
Yeah, beakers.
Yeah, we use these vessels like beakers in order for universal mind to experience first person perspective as the self, as the individual that's experiencing it through. So
Mm.
that's why they say that we are creation experiencing itself because we are. The
Mm-hmm.
3 dimensions is just another level of frequency modification. We use the earth realm as a true school for God force energy, right? So when we at our brightest, we are star.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't learn to balance our energy out, we go supernova.
Mm.
right? If we get too caught up in our own shit, then we collapse into a dwarf star.
Mm. Crash
So
down.
we come into Earth, we learn how to find our balance using the dual system, the balance of duality, the duad, in order to be our own monad in our own point zero creation model. Right? So we come and get an accelerated learning course by living a couple hundred years on Earth. It's able to teach you enough where you can balance your star self into a long distance as a more evenly burning star. Because
Mm-hmm.
all it is the massive energy exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
that
also,
massive energy exchange gives you what appears to be the heat and the light.
and they also they use that nanotechnology. It's a form of psychotronic technology. So as Rob was saying, when you get back to that galactic center, it can also cause a lot of neurological misfires to where it puts you in a state of zombification. So that's why a lot of times, a lot of people get caught up into that because, the Food and Drug Administration, they got all that technology and they using the smart dust particles. And then they got that motherfucking radiation fog, that MQ9 nano reaper drone technology. And
You know
kind
that
of
radiation fog is that's the cloak of the ships.
really,
The radioactive fog. It's the cloak of the ship. The ships is not from Earth.
right.
So the stuff that they spray up to cloak it has radioactive qualities on Earth.
Mm,
But it just make what look like a big old cloud in the sky. The only way you know it's different is because it's radioactive.
right.
When it falls to the ground, it look like fog. Whereas a regular cloud comes to the ground, it normally comes down as precipitation. But
Mm,
remember, fog is a cloud on the ground anyway because it's rapid evaporation to the point that it creates the cloud effect in the lower atmosphere.
mm-hmm. Let me get to another question. Salute to Margot Mangrum. Gratitude. What should we do as individuals in the collective to take advantage of the 11 111 portal, I believe tomorrow. 111 portal.
Everybody got their own instincts on what they should or should not be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Follow your instincts, follow your gut, follow your spirit, follow your practice. As long as you're doing your best at being yourself and you're doing your stuff according to your own terms, you got to spell out the terms. When you do that, it's more powerful in your life than if you use somebody else's terms and conditions. So if you want to use it as a manifestation portal, you got to manifest it because it's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you want to change your life by going down a different timeline, you have to do it your way in order to maximize the return on whatever it is you do through the portal opening.
Mm-hmm. And it's really that 111 is really a three because three is also a representation of manifestation, which is the mind. So
Mm-hmm.
so I guess you can use it, just based on numerology, using it in the form of manifestation, you know, whatever you're trying to attract in your reality.
And the
Doing
two
that.
is and the three is also a two ball game.
Why? What's that? What's a
The
two ball game?
two ball game is just an ancient game, an old
Okay.
Egyptian game where you had what looked like you know the walking canes we have now.
Yeah.
The walking cane comes from the game called two ball cane.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
know that.
also used in masonry as a discussions of tools of teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So the one in the middle is the straight bump. That's the cane. Then you got one sun on the left, one sun on the right. You got to be able to bump them both off the straight bump and make them bump
Right.
back.
Mm.
Right. So it's the two ball cane. It's a form of like hockey. The
I
two
forgot. It's
parts.
another game they used to do. I don't know if it's rugby. They used to be on the horse and they hitting the ball.
Yeah,
I
polo.
thought. Yeah. I thought that was kind of like, is that kind of like the same thing, but they just on horses?
No, that's polo. Polo is a different game. But they did have a game like Two Ball Cane they played on horseback too.
Mm.
But it looked like they got a long hockey stick instead of a hammer for polo.
Mm.
Then they had a game called Senate, was a board game they used to play, like chess.
And then we got Erin, the Virgo. She says, "Can we miss out on a portal being open? What if we did? And how do we know if we did?"
You can only miss out on something that was meant for you that you overlooked. You can't miss out on that if you wasn't supposed to be doing that.
Exactly.
Stop looking from the victim position because that's what they taught us. We think we're gonna miss something. No, it wasn't your time to do something, and it wasn't your time to receive something at that particular portal. When the portal that you're supposed to catch comes, you're gonna know the time, you're gonna know how to do whatever it is you need to do to manifest whatever you're trying to manifest on that portal. Otherwise, it wasn't your portal to catch.
Mm.
It's just like trying to catch a train and you standing on the bus stop or the train stop. You can't catch the train that ain't came yet.
Right.
And then you can't get on the wrong train. You can only get on the train going to your destination.
Exactly. And
So
then we
you stand on
got
the platform and wait for your train. You know when the board, you know the directions.
Jet Life, Django 5110. What is the deal with this supposed dragon in Venezuela?
Um, be it true or not, it's the descriptive analogy of a very high profile individual, either way you look at it. Whether it's a real dragon or whether it's a dragon in code only, it would still make reference to a VIP,
Mm.
right? So it could be a chief that they trying to force to do business with him that they referring to as the dragon in Venezuela,
Mm.
right? So you gotta always remember when you see dragon, automatically translated first as master, and think of somebody with a powerful oratory and a strong presence. He is the dragon, right? Unless he a lion, suave appearance with a smooth roar, a light skinned lion. But the term used for master being a dragon comes from the Nagas kings. The reason they use the term dragon is because the dragon is a giant serpent.
Right.
All of the chiefs that have the Sakomao know to follow the wisdom because the wisdom comes in the form of the serpent. So when you look at Tupac Amaru, meaning the wise serpent thankful to God, right? We talking about a warrior energy, and he's gonna be doing what's called a war dance. But the war dance is passed off as concerts and hip hop in the modern time. You don't have to go perform for the local tribes to get the tribe to sing. Now you can just put it on TV,
Mm.
right? I don't have to give public notice in the newspaper. I could just get on social media, and my presence is automatically noticed to agent is noticed to principal.
Mm-hmm.
It's automatically recognized no matter what platform on as a public notice as the chief on the lane. The government know this. They just hope that our people don't never recognize that we back for everything they owe. It just so happened they owe us everything.
And salute to everybody in the chat. Make sure y'all hit the Baba Rod Hayes' cash app. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all hit his cash app because he is giving y'all some, some next level information as he always does. Salute to Rod Hayes with that. We're gonna get one more question in. Let me see. Ain't no question. Okay. From Voice Art with Zay, Empress Rarebird is the one who have the National Guard activated to remove the deep state, alphabet groups, and other invaders. Correct, Rod?
Yeah, they already started arresting the judges,
Yep.
right? So, matter of fact, I'm assuming this receipt. We got to show this receipt, and then we can go from there where you want to.
Okay. I had a video I put on one of my transmissions maybe about a few days no maybe about 2 months ago, which I showed the arrest of a lot of the judges. They was getting carried out
Look at
in the
this
Capitol
picture.
building. All right, let's see. All right,
You got
damn.
a YouTube channel that's on, and look and get the video report.
You want to pull the video up or you want the picture
Oh
up?
no, I was letting the people that's watching know that when you show this image, that they can actually go to that YouTube video and listen to what took
Okay.
place.
All right, I'm about to airdrop it to myself real quick.
The National Guard is already active. They already stationed. We don't really want them to have to be used.
Right.
The deep state is agitating. That's why they hired that lady to get herself killed.
Hold on.
Sure. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? The one that the ICE agent shot.
Yeah, she was a PSYOP agent.
She was a paid protester. What did that mean? She was paid to instigate civil unrest.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Enough to get herself shot.
Right.
She had to fuck around and find out. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Facts. All right, let me go. Yeah, FBI arrests 12 sitting judges who took millions in bribes by Sonola cartel. Bet the liberal news stations won't be discussing this big win for America. Yep.
Hey, look, you see where it's saying that there was 12 sitting judges that took bribes from the Sinaloa cartel.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when I was telling you, and I was also mentioning this on I think the last John Elder that, and last night with Forburn. They had to cut the money supply off to make the motherfuckers they can't pay their private security.
Right.
Because all their bank accounts is already frozen. So they was using the hard cash that was imported from Venezuela through the cartels. And remember, Zelensky gave them the folder with all of the U.S. dirty players that's running the Venezuelan operation for the cartels. So they got the whole family tree of all of the judges, police officers, police captains, sheriff deputies, sheriffs across the country that's participating in the network. Because remember, just like we have a CIA, Venezuela also had an intelligence agency.
Mm-hmm.
Scroll to the bottom so they can see where to look that video up at.
All right. There you go. FBI arrests 12 judges in massive cartel bribery investigation. So that's the title right there, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see. All right. I can go back to the front in case you want to ask some more questions. All right. Hold on. Well, hold on, Rod. Trying to get it back to the. It's not letting me do anything. It's like my shit is frozen.
That might be the government telling us to shut the hell up. We said too much.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised because remember I told you I put your name inside the Google Trends in Israel, and they showed the Tel Aviv district, and that's where the district where the Mossad is at. Like I looked it up. I asked ChatGPT like what is in that area, and yeah, I think I sent it to you one night. I
And I
believe.
remember me and you talking about it.
Yeah.
But
So I go ahead.
they have been Googling me in Tel Aviv.
Yep. So they watching most definitely. So I can't even get to the. It's not even letting me do anything. Wow, that's crazy. Uh, I guess I just go back to this presentation slide. But yeah, I guess I can get. I can get into some questions from here. One more question because it's not letting me pull it up the side by side stuff anymore. And Rod Hayes' Cash App is in the chat, not in the chat, but it's in the at the bottom scrolling. The cash symbol, the sick ape. Okay. Let me see if about a question. So, um, somebody was asking, what is the as far as like gang stalking, and then yeah, why do you think Trump really wants Greenland? Let's go with that question.
It's not that Trump won't Greenland. They
Right.
gotta have it. They gotta give it back to us. Greenland is part of the Americas.
Mm-hmm.
Greenland don't belong to Norway, Finland, Denmark, or none of that. Norway is part of the tribal territory of what we call Turtle Island. And it's the same reason he was talking about the United States of Canada and the United States of Mexico, and we're going to take charge of both of them. It's not him that's going to do it. It's the tribal mothers that's going to do it.
Right.
He's just the conduit that they're using right now until Empress Weber assert uh, her tribal right as executor, her executive privilege, is what it's called. Once
Mm-hmm.
she exerts executive privileges to give everything back to the tribal mothers in the public domain following the tribal oral tradition, she don't got to do nothing. He gonna follow suit because what comes next.
Mm. And I remember that green book you was telling me about by Gaddafi that really gives you the blueprint on how to run the government once you
That's
have
just one.
all of.
Um, you ever read Blueprint for Black Power by Dr. Amos Wilson?
Nope, I ain't read that one.
I mean, it's about 1,000 pages, but this is the truth. But telling us everything. Then we got people like Randall Robinson wrote The Debt. I think his name Randall Robinson. He wrote a book called The Debt, where America owe Black America,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he's talking about from a reparations standpoint. I'm not coming from the standpoint of reparations. I believe that our birthright will override any potential they have to pay out reparations to a birthright, right, as a living heir,
Mm.
than to try to chase reparations because we are the heirs to the earth.
Right.
So if we heirs to the earth, what wealth comes with that?
Everything, every goddamn
All of
thing.
it.
Right.
Right. So, and if I want my cut, I gotta make sure that I tell everybody who the correct Big Mama is at this time, not because I wanted to be, but because this is who they surrendered to. They surrendered it to her, and now she's exerting her claim in the public domain, and that's why I make sure that she do everything by the oral tradition and not get trapped in that paper chain. The paper
Mm-hmm.
chain is designed to keep you bogged down in paperwork and ineffective, but always giving you the possibility of a solution that never really comes. Because everybody that's been using the paperwork, they always end up being the ones with the most problems with the system.
Salute to Sauce Angels Records. Is Trump a black wizard?
Um, Trump is a parody. It's a character. The character's job is to be a buck dancing cracker like they used to have buck dancing niggas.
Bam. Now that you say it, I can't even unsee it now. That's crazy. So he's kind of like a Obama.
On the exact opposite end of the spectrum. So instead of putting a real ghetto nigga up there, you put a pale guy that love ghetto niggas up there.
Wow.
And then you let the world call him racist. You let everybody call him racist, and all the time he paying for black people to eat on a daily basis, literally out of his pocket. Like not no people we know. Like he got little programs in New York where people go in and get fed for free, but we don't know about it, so we don't talk about it. And he not doing it for clout, so he don't brag about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not using it to get political eyes on his campaign. He can just fight with the issues at hand. He don't have to say, I've been doing this for you niggas, and I've been doing this for you niggas. He ain't got to do none of that.
Right.
All he got to do is our interest is on the table in D.C. Represent our interests, and we can use you. From the Doja Canning to the deployment of National Guard, you might not see the National Guard in your city. But if you got a city big enough to be seen on the map, they are within a 40-mile radius of your city. It's a National Guard contingent waiting to be deployed to your local area at a moment's notice. These judges, these administrative law judges that been giving these people these criminal sentences in violation of their constitutional rights. You're not supposed to be locked up for a lawsuit.
Right.
Nobody's not supposed to sue you to be locked up. That's what they doing. Every criminal case in a state court is a lawsuit. And the state is not supposed to be a party to the lawsuit. But they always written as the plaintiff. The people of the state of Michigan versus Rod Hayes. I don't even know all the people in the state of Michigan. How am I going to confront my accuser when I don't know everybody?
Hey, Ryan, is that your cash ape, the sick ape, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No. Take the THE off of it.
Okay. All right. Let me make sure I get that right.
I'm getting hungry now, big girl.
What you gonna eat?
I don't know. Probably go find me a chicken breast or something.
I heard that. Yeah, I've been me and my lady, we've been fasting. We've been trying to, we've been fasting. We've been doing a lot of juicing, trying to keep everything, copacetic. Trying to do, trying to be a lot more healthier. It's all types of shit going on.
My diet is 90% chicken and pasta, or chicken and rice.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. And it says, would this still have happened if Kamala had won?
Kamala wasn't never going to win. Kamala wasn't going to never win. It wasn't possible for her to win. It's a parody of a presidency. It wasn't even a real presidency. It was a military psychological operation in order to conceal that Trump was still the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and he couldn't surrender that position because we was in the middle of a domestic civil war. So they allowed the corporation to be taken over by a dummy, a straw man, who was played by a character who was executed in fucking 2018, 2019 or something.
Yeah.
Right, so they was using all kind of false shit. That's why they had the court ruled that all of the auto pen pardons was void for fraud. You can't have a fraudulent contract stand. This is our grounds that we stood on because the United States corporation never honored any treaties that they ever made on behalf of the tribes. And the tribes went out of their way honoring treaties, even the ones that didn't make treaties, because they was enforcing them under a police state.
And also, you cannot have a democracy in the sun cycle. It's a conflict of interest. So, like I said,
Democracy
that's why.
it's the other side of Plato's Republic. It's just a parody of a government. It's not even a real government.
Right. So you got to go back to common law, organic law. So,
Grips with the fact that I be telepathically communicating with people that be telling me shit. And then I realize that some of the motherfuckers is in the physical body and some of them ain't. That came by. We're in the Bible when they say test the spirit. Test the spirit, you find out. You can talk to motherfuckers that's walking around. Just like y'all having a conversation. Nobody will never know you talking to them. Nobody will never know they talking to you. Y'all carrying on a full-blown conversation. Right? The power of the man. The man is the most slept on piece of technology we ever had. So who first come up with the questions? Does Martin Luther mean... No, Martin Luther don't mean shit until you give it a meaning. This is name generally commonly used in reference to the Protestant rebellion from the Catholic Church. Well, if you go back in the history of the church, you realize that Martin Luther wasn't the first rebel. He wasn't the first one to rebel. Hey, you had a guy named Coverdale. You had a guy named Tisdale who wrote alternate versions to compete with the Catholic Church of the Bible. And then you had the advent of the King James Bible for English-speaking people. The Bible was not originally written in Hebrew as we've been told. The New Testament was originally written in Greek. The Old Testament wasn't written yet. The Old Testament was not written in the BC period. Everything they telling us came from the BC period in the Bible. They making that shit up. The Hebrew portion of the Bible was because they needed a backstory for the New Testament. So if you do the research on the Hebrew language, and you'll find out that it's not older than the church. That's the same way they came to the Middle East and realized that you couldn't make the temperament of those tribes in the Middle East convert to some turn the other cheek ass Christian shit. They wasn't buying it. This is what gave you your holy wars. You gotta remember, the first holy war was the first crusade. And the first crusade didn't happen till after the death of Constantine. He wasn't trying to spread Christianity. He was trying to conquer the world. And he developed the church as one of his most effective tools for global conquest. And then you had Muhammad. Muhammad was picked because he had insight. He had spiritual awareness. But this is something for anybody who don't think the Catholic Church is the ones who was behind the construct of Islam. Before the Catholic Church was the Catholic Church, it was the city of Vatican, home of the sacerdotal seat of Vatican at the time. It had moved from Kemet as the Osset seat. Then it went to Scotland as the Scotta seat. It was in Europe, it was the Europa seat, but it was still feminine sacerdotal seat. When it was in India, it was the Kali Ma seat. In the Middle East, you had different reigns during different periods, where it was the Inanna seed, it was the Ishtar seed, Ashtoreth, that's Ishtar. She was the goddess that they erased from the Bible so that they can tell you that El, son of Enlil, didn't have a consort. And he created everything out of his testicles. Like we supposed to just bleed that shit. The storm is a cold. The whole storm, ice is on the land, means ISIS is on the land. They telling you without telling you. They started telling you with that deep freeze in Texas about 3 years ago when ISIS was in the kitchen. Because the ice was in the kitchen. That was the famous imagery they were showing on the news where the water had bust through somebody's house and froze in the kitchen. ISIS in the kitchen mean Big Mama home. They know it. A lot of people be thinking I don't know what I'm talking about, but the ones who have seen the receipts were like, where this motherfucker come from? But the ones that think I don't know what I'm talking about, they about to get a rude awakening. Because all these high-ranking political figures, they gonna turn into brown nose and ass kissers, and I do not like ass kissers. So that means that the only one that's gonna stand up and talk to me straight and tell me what I asked them is gonna be Donald J. Because the rest of them got pussy in them, right? So I don't know. That's just some strange shit that happens in my life. Explain who Menelik I, King Solomon's son, in a relationship to Haile Selassie. That's the history of the Rasta's doctrine. I ain't finna go into that. Malachi got a whole book called Who Was Haile Selassie? If you don't know who Menelik was by now, it's not important. If you don't know who Haile Selassie was by now, all I can tell you is you need to get your Nipsey Hussle on. We always gonna come back. When Haile Selassie left, he came back as Ermias Ashkadam. Ermias Ashkadam. Ermias is Giez for Hermes. Hermes is another name for Tahuti or Thoth. And the only person that's going to be interested enough to give a fuck is going to be somebody like me that be asking too many goddamn questions for his own good. Because they always used to tell me, boy, you ask too many goddamn questions for your own good. They ain't never lied. Because half this shit I learned, I wish I wouldn't have never learned it. I wish I didn't know all the shit I know now. Because now I can walk around and act dumb like everybody else. I can't even pretend now. Like all that shit I be seeing when I walk to the store, I see people doing dumb shit everywhere I look. And I be like, who's doing that dumb ass shit? Oh, it's the human experience. So this realm of human experience we actually in is the dumbest realm we ever been in. We've never had a cycle where the human being was this dumb. We so goddamn dumb that we think dumb people smart. That's where we fucked up at. So don't nobody want to talk? Oh, here we go. Dolo, what up, Dolo?
My brother, peace.
Chief Rod Hayes.
What's going on, my brother?
Nothing much. I ain't gonna lie. Before I start off my question, though, I gotta get this off my chest because you have no idea. Well, actually, you do know the impact that you truly you have on the people. I'm sure you well aware of that. You played a huge part as far as helping me make sense of this thing that my soul has been aware of since I've stepped in this body. Like I always knew something was wrong. I just couldn't put a pin on it. But I always knew something was wrong. And when I stumbled upon you about 2 years ago, I knew every word that came out your mouth. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Every word that came out your mouth, I was like, yep. And from there, it was all you. And then I made my way to Dan Calloway, and he solidified it. Like you solidified it, but so did Dan Calloway. So with all that being said,
they one of the goats.
He really is, man. He
Top Cat.
Bad motherfucker. And I love Top Cats. The way he Man, he a funny motherfucker. But with all that being said, I just want to I want to ask you one simple question. Cause I want to hear a lot of other people hop on and things of that nature. Um, I was born and raised in the city of Milwaukee, and I know that, like, my whole life, I hear a lot, like, just not even outside the spiritual things. Just it could be anything. Just hearing about the world.